This is the Obsbot Me, an AI-powered selfie phone mount, and the solution to one of the biggest struggles of being a solo content creator, recording yourself. You have to make sure you're in frame. Once you're in frame, you can't move, and static shots are boring. The Obsbot Me solves all those problems with its 120-degree wide-angle lens, AI image processing, and smooth auto tracking. You can be confident that you'll be in frame and you get dynamic shots. My name is Rodney, welcome to the channel. I share all the latest action camera news, reviews, and how-tos, so like and subscribe to learn how to get the most out of your camera. Obsbot sent the Obsbot Me to test, and that's what I'll be doing in this video. They also provided a discount code right here for 5% off. That also is 5% off of any discounts. There's links in the description if you want to make a purchase. The Obsbot Me is a really unique auto tracking selfie mount. It doesn't use your phone's camera when it's tracking. It doesn't use an app for its tracking. It doesn't even use a Bluetooth connection. All the auto tracking is taken care of inside the unit using its AI image processing. So you're free to use whatever camera you want. You can even use an action camera like a GoPro Hero 12 or Osmo Action 4. You would need an adapter for that, and there are some weight restrictions, but you just have a lot of freedom in the equipment you want to use. You're not tied down to a particular app to run it, so you could use whatever app you use for your video creation. If you use TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, they're all available to you, and you don't have to worry about any compatibility issues. The mount is nice and compact when it's folded up. When you're ready to use it, all you have to do is rotate the arm up, and it comes with this small tripod. So you place your phone in the holder. With this setup, you would record with your camera's front-facing camera, but if you want to use your phone's best camera, the rear-facing camera, all you have to do is rotate the arm horizontally like this. You adjust the camera's position manually, turning it horizontally or vertically, and you can also adjust the angle. To turn it on, you press and hold the power button for 3 seconds. The green light comes on, letting you know the mount is on, but not locked onto you. There are 2 ways to turn on the auto tracking. You can press the power button or use the gesture control. When you press the power button to engage the auto tracking, it does a quick lock. The status light will turn blue and will immediately lock onto you. To turn auto tracking off, you press the power button again and the status light turns green. If you don't want to have to constantly go back to the mount to turn on and off the auto tracking, you can use gesture control. With gesture control, you raise your hand with your finger slightly apart and it will automatically turn on or off the auto tracking. Gesture control worked pretty well. I've tested out this feature on some other equipment like the Insta360 Flow, and the gesture control could be a little hit and miss, but the gesture control on the Obsbot Me was pretty reliable. Now's a good time to discuss the differences between the Obsbot Me and a phone gimbal like the Insta360 Flow. They look similar, but there are some pretty big differences. So a phone gimbal is meant to provide you stable footage as you're moving. It's going to use your phone's camera, an app in your phone, to control the gimbal. Now that's different than the Obsbot Me, which is meant to stay stationary, and it's using its internal processor and lens to do all the auto tracking. During my testing, I was impressed by the pan motion. It was smooth, it was responsive, and it was quiet, so you shouldn't have to worry about the camera lagging behind you or getting a lot of noise from the motor when you're recording your videos. Now I'll show you some of my real-world testing. On my other channels, I do outdoor content, and I'm a solo creator, so it's a lot of me setting up the camera and walking through the frame or driving through the frame. But now with the auto tracking, I should be able to walk through the frame and it will track me to add some movement and some life to the videos. According to Obsbot, the best tracking distance is up to 3 meters away, but the furthest tracking distance is 15 meters. In my testing, I found that this was pretty correct. Here I started out about 3 meters from the Me and worked my way further and further back, moving from side to side, and I got pretty far away. I would say I was about 15 meters away, maybe a little bit more actually, and it was still able to track me. Next, I tested out the range of the gesture control. I started at about 1 meter away and it worked every time. Then I moved 2 meters away and it worked, but there was a few times I had to raise my hand more than once. Then I went back to 3 meters and it worked, but just like at 2 meters, I had to raise my hand more than once a few times. Then I went back even further to 4 meters and it stopped working. A range of 3 meters or just under 10 feet for us Americans isn't bad. The ultimate test for auto tracking is, can it find you after it loses sight of you? I walked towards this area with trees and bushes. I didn't go completely behind them and the tracking worked well. Then I walked completely behind this tree and the tracking lost me, which is to be expected. It wasn't able to pick me back up though until I was about 6 feet away. I walked back to the bushes again, and this time I went completely behind them and it lost me, and it wasn't able to pick me up again until I was about 6 feet away. The Obsbot Me performed pretty well. The auto tracking is definitely cool, and you definitely need a cool camera to go along with it. To figure out which action camera is best for you, check out this video.